I want to get back to the mountain, right? Because I think that metaphor of, so Ben Simmons checks all his, and then he's full. He's not hungry anymore because he ate everything. He ate.
He got it all quick too.
First round pick
fast.
or number 1 overall pick, rookie of the year.
Don't forget the $49 million Nike contract.
Right, the shoe deal, and then also the second deal, which you get to, which is a max deal. It depends what your mountain is. If your mountain, so he's on top of the mountain, now he's good. If your mountain, some other guys, the mountain's the championship. Let me give you. So here's something that really stands out to me when you talk about the greatest to ever do it. Because there are levels. I remember reading an article. It was like an interview with Derek Jeter in one of the New York tabloids, and he'd already won 5 World Series. He'd won a World Series MVP. He'd never been MVP of a regular season. He won a batting crown, the whole thing. And they said, "What's the one thing that you want that you don't have in your career?" So your brain. Oh, that's an interesting question. He's done it all already. He's got ripped off of 1 MVP. Went to Justin Morneau one year. I think that was like 2007.
Justin Morneau won the MVP over
Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter,
or was it Mauer? And he was one of those Minnesota
for the Twins.
Guys. Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was another year. So I'm thinking he might say, "Oh, win an MVP," or like, what is he going to say? Know what he said? The one thing he didn't have that he wanted, a 6th ring, because Derek Jeter, what his mountain is winning the championship. So a normal person would think he's already got championships. He's like, yeah. Those are fine. I want the next championship.
Yes, but that's
his mountain is different than Ben Simmons.
That's okay, but that don't make here's what I'm saying. That does not make Ben Simmons. See, what we do in sports is we say, "Oh, Ben Simmons need to be like this person." No, Ben Simmons need to be like Ben Simmons. Now,
no, actually, Ben Simmons needed to be like someone else because it's a waste of talent.
No, that's not necessarily true, Max. Because if you look at what he was able to do in a short span, right? We just checked every box. Rookie of the year, perennial all-star.
Rich, if you're Ben Simmons, NBA, or if you're his family, or if you're in business with Ben Simmons.
What do you mean? I represented the guy.
Right, I get it.
You don't think I wanted him to play longer and more? And his career's not over.
If you are the team that drafted him or the team that acquired him, you don't want him to be like Ben Simmons. That's the whole point. You want him to be like LeBron James. What?
Yeah, but
why couldn't he have been like LeBron?
But here's what I'm saying.
Taller than LeBron?
Here's what I'm saying. That's you as a fan wanting more. For you, we don't know what he wanted for him.
But you're seeing it purely from the athlete's point of view. And the athlete, the pool of athletes is several thousand in sports. The pool of fans is tens of millions, right?
I just want to be clear about something, including myself. Yes, if it was up to me, I would have wanted him to have a 20-year career. He was that good. But you can't necessarily ignore some of the things that took place. You're talking purely from a talent perspective.
No, like a team perspective. If you're figuring out who you want to draft, if you're figuring out who you want to pay.
they took him number 1.
If you're figuring out who you want to acquire.
Yes.
Yeah, they paid him, but it seems like Ben Simmons never liked the responsibility of his contract. He just liked spending the money. My man made sure that he was fly every game when he sat on the bench and was on his forever DMP. But the pressure that comes with that contract never gets talked about too much. Even though Paul George had finessed a max deal out of the 76ers, we could see with him testing positive for certain substances that he felt the pressure to perform after just a couple of seasons of a nothing burger. I'm always saying in the East Coast, when you play for certain cities like Boston, New York, Philadelphia, those fan bases take it real personal when there's a perception that you're not putting your best foot forward.
Want Ben Simmons because it's a dead end.
Well,
you're not going to get a championship.
But here's what I'm saying. You're not saying that on draft day. You're saying that now.
Yes. I have more information now.
Yeah, but you're playing the cards face up at that point.
Ben Simmons' career at a certain point died. And what I'm saying is the reason it died, I think, based on our conversation, which I find illuminating, the reason it died is because his mountain was not the mountain you want your best player to have. Derek Jeter's mountain goes up infinitely. If you have 5 chips, the thing you want, you're not thinking about. It's the Damian Lillard line. I love this line. Lillard's a good rapper. Don't believe that time is money money is time. You stay focused, you look up, and your money is fine, right? Like
100%.
And Damian Lillard,
Listen.
even though he didn't win a championship, has that championship mentality.
Alleged championship mentality. You see, the Michael Jordan effect in the NBA, that shit is long lasting. And a lot of guys feel the need to live up to that pressure or just respond to it. Of course, today, for any franchise star, the amount of money that's on the table, even if your franchise is losing, is very hard to deny. This has definitely been the case. Not only he's close to home by being in Portland, right next to the Bay Area, but he also could remain that big fish in a small pond. All that championship talk sounds nice, but we've never really seen the Portland Trailblazers even make the attempt to go after a top-notch free agent. So what championship mentality does he really have if he keeps re-signing there?
And Damian Lillard,
Listen.
even though he didn't win a championship, has that championship mentality. You want
tell you
a
this.
dude like that.
I'm gonna tell you this. I remember having a conversation, me and Ben talking. And I had the conversation. I said, Ben, you got so much left in the tank, bro. So much left in the tank. And by the way, if you just become a pick and roll 5 at the end of games, because you're able to, your playmaking ability makes you a different rolling big. Like
No
we see so many,
doubt.
we see so many rolling bigs with low IQ. You actually have a high
Yeah,
IQ.
like
So at worst case scenario, if you just become, we know what the defense
kind of Bill
was.
Walton on wheels, you know?
You know, it was
Yeah.
all first team all defense.
Yes,
right?
He could guard all 5
So
positions.
if you just become that, where you rolling down the lane, dunk, man rotates over, kick to the. If you
make the
just
right
become
read
that,
and perfect
you're
pass.
you're $30 million player. Just become that.
dude,
so
no
but
question.
So what I'm saying is, we don't know, and until the book is still open, right? Maybe he comes back.
No,
I
I don't
don't
think
know.
the book is open.
I don't know. I like to give all athletes the benefit of the doubt, but
Man, so many fans feel like they've been burnt by Ben Simmons. Oh my God. If you're a fan of any team he played for, you feel so burnt by this dude.
I think again, there's been injuries that's come to that. There's been a lot of different things.
You know, for Rich Paul, that Ben Simmons situation, the way it kind of fell out with Philadelphia, just still getting him paid was great marketing for Clutch Sports. I can only imagine how many players had their eyes wide open that they were able to still get him his money, even though he was kind of making bogus claims why he couldn't play. But right here, Rich Paul gives further insight into how players could easily become disconnected from their teammates or just an overall franchise, not only due to the influx of money that's coming in, but also them assembling their own teams of trainers, chefs, etc. A lot of the camaraderie that can happen off the court, like going out to eat together, those situations behind the scenes are starting to look like things of the past.
This is why I talk about the ecosystem of an athlete. Man, the NBA season is a roller coaster. Being a guy, especially if you're a role guy, you can play at home. Fine, play at home. If you're a marquee guy, don't play at home, because every night it's tickets, depending on how many family members you got. And for every one family member you got, they got 3 friends. Right?
It's
These
just
tickets,
a whole other job.
These tickets aren't free. Then when you leave out that locker room, man, you just may want to go home to your family. You may not want to see nobody, not even your agent for that matter. I just had this conversation. Me, Draymond, DeAnthony Melton, and Jimmy Butler were talking. And this was an opportunity for me to ask them. And I did. And I said, obviously I represent Draymond. I do not represent Jimmy. I do not represent
You just said a magic
DeAnthony.
word that reminded me of something, but go ahead. Yeah.
But I asked him a question. I said, hey, man, take me through the course of your day. And if it's a game day, when do you want to see your representation? Do you want to see the representation before the game, after the game, etc.? And they all had different answers. The reason why I asked that is because the league has totally changed. When I first came in the league 24 years ago, it was simple. You go to the game, after the game, you go to a steakhouse, and that was it. Now, they don't want to go eat. Guys have chefs. It's a different dynamic. So where are you spending the time? I see a lot of people, especially agents, with the, I mean, I don't know how many of those earbuds Apple has sold, but everybody got them in, and I talk to so many people a day. You can't be talking that much. And it's like, when do you want to see, you know, anybody for that matter? I was just putting myself in that position to better myself, but I'm saying in terms of...
You know why everyone has chefs now, right? And they used to live in a steakhouse? Because 24 years ago, you were dealing with one level of player. 24 years later, you're dealing with everyone having chefs.
I think it's being educated. Because here's the thing. Guys may come out and and as a rookie, and it's like, oh man, chef costs $75,000 or $100,000, depending on what city you live in. Somebody may say to you, that's too much money. That's not if I'm investing in myself.
Especially since you're going to spend that in the restaurants anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, that cook at the restaurant or the chef at the restaurant, he hasn't met with your nutritionist on your team to understand what you're allergic to, all those type of things. So anyway, the other part about playing at home, that whether you play at home or not, that you don't necessarily get to see, is now I have to live up, not just so much as live up, everything is brought with me, right? Everything is brought with me. My high school stuff, my community league stuff. It's just it's a mess. It's just so much. This is why international players actually have it better.
Because all that stuff is left behind.
They don't have... American players come into the NBA weighing more than they actually weigh.
Carrying a lot of weight.
It's a lot, man. It's a... And
not to mention, oftentimes, they have to bring a generation out of poverty, too.
Yes, I'm not talking about family. I'm talking about it's just a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Period. And there's no metric for that. There's no metric for that. And you cannot... if you had a broke arm, you got a cast on. Leg, you got a cast on. If you had whiplash, you got a neck brace on, etc. But when your brain is fractured a little bit, or even if it's a hairline fracture, we can't see that. And the average person is saying, I'm good. And from an athlete perspective, just taught to be macho and, you know, this and that. Playing at home adds a whole nother layer to that.
So
we haven't even gotten to winning or losing.
You wouldn't want AD to go to Chicago.
Max, I'm not getting into any of that.
What you just said was, if you're a role player, go home. AD is not a role player.
I don't want any marquee player. I wouldn't. I can't control it, because obviously, if they got the money and they want to pay and the guy chooses to want to go there, then great. What I'm saying is, I would rather a marquee player not play in his hometown unless they could handle everything that comes with it, because there are some benefits. It's all based upon how you manage it.
But it is what it is. When you add on that new NBA scheduling where it's a game every other day, it only complicates things, because guys are just now more further into their own silos. You're talking about a schedule where it could just last weeks at a time, where you have a game, then a travel day, game, travel day, game, travel day. There's already not enough time for these teams to get practices in. So players have a more one-on-one situation with their own personal trainers, medical staff, etc. Check out right here as LeBron James gives great insight to how everyone is just hovering around their own silos with their own medical staff, trainers, etc. We could say the blueprint really started with him. LeBron James has had a great positive impact on the way players move around the league. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
I walked in the training room the other day after a game, you know, and I have to like really like be sore or whatever, but I rarely go into the training room and get like a leg flush after a game. Yeah. We play like a lot of games, and I went in there after the game just get like a 20-minute flush before I started my ice and treatment and whatever. There's a lot of people in there. Listen, I was a little overwhelmed.
You said that nicely.
There's a fucking ton of people in there, man. It was like 5 guys. Yeah. It was 5 guys on the team. There was like 25 people in the training room.
Right.
Like
it's like
7 doctors.
Redesign our buildings.
Yeah, it's like 7 doctors, 7 or 8 doctors.
Yeah.
10 medical team staff, 4 or 5 massage therapists, Like it was like 25. I was like, oh man, and it was loud too.
Right.
Like I was like, I need my
Yeah.
headphones.
It's like a clinic.
Yeah, it was like a clinic. Like I was walking into like
Yeah.
the emergency at like
Right. Yeah,
UCLA.
right. The pit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So right there, you can see how players could easily venture off and just become disconnected from the team. That off the court camaraderie is really not the same anymore. For Ben Simmons, him making all that damn money, it's fairly obvious how disconnected he was from his team. Even that footage with him showing up to that practice with his cell phone in his pocket. Very unfortunate, but at the end of the day, there's a graveyard of just highly talented players that came across the league and never really hitting their potential.